Good morning, it's UPB from OptionMillionaires.com. We have earnings really kicking off this week. Last week, I talked about Microsoft. I put it on my private Twitter. The 3550s at 16 cents. It ended up going to 80 cents the next day. Nice gain. I got out at 55 cents. Some of you got out at more, some a little less. But either way, over 100, 200, or 300% plus profit, depending on when you got out. And CLF, same thing. CLF. And let's pull up the chart for CLF and see what I was looking at. This is the long-term chart. You can see the downtrend here. You can actually bring that line up here. You see a nice W bottom, this wedge here, and we broke out to the upside. And this is what I was calling for when I saw the stock for earnings. And you can see the breakout we had. We're pulling back again starting this week, but needless to say, you've already sold your weekly options for a massive profit. So who cares what's going on this week? Take the money and run. I wanted to bring up the chart, the SP 500. The spiders. Look at this, very bearish. When you see a chart like this, and it's funny because you got some people who are pretty reputable on some of the bearish blogs and sites talking about how we're going to crash here. Or we all know this is a glass house. It's just a matter of when that stone is going to get thrown. But right now, continuing bullish perspective here from my perspective, and we're going to see new all-time highs by the end of the year. I've been saying that, it seems like every video I do, back when the government shut down the most recent pullback, and Syria and Cyprus, and then we can all go all the way back to the sequester at the start of the year. The sequester, I was talking about it then. I actually bought the VXX puts, made about 600% on those. So go all the way back to the Abenomics low in November. So anyway, this market continues to defy all logic, and the reason is because central banks around the world are printing money. So just wrap your logic around that, and you'll be just fine. That's why we're going to see new all-time highs by the end of the year, and possibly we'll see the third consecutive strong first quarter of 2014. All right, let's go to Apple. Apple reports earnings tonight after the bell, and you can see beautiful W bottom here that I've been pointing out. I was actually talking about this stock back in June and July, saying it was going to hit new all-time highs by the end of the year. Well, we're getting closer, but we're going to need a really nice pop, which we may get. We got a good 13% pop from Google on earnings. Who's to say Apple can't go 15 to 17% to the upside? Nobody's calling for that. Nobody's saying Apple 15% or even 10%. But if you look, the move that a lot of people think it's going to make is pretty significant. So if you want to look at the options, we're looking at let's just pull up Apple real quick, and we're looking at about a $29 move for Apple. So let's see, that would bring us to about $5.55. That'd be about a 5.5-6% move. What I would be looking for is, let's do it. I mean, with Google. But again, it's going to be tough to be trading the options. To me, I just look at the chart, and you can put this up in a line chart. And I was also posting the seasonality for the stock that historically, over the last 5 years, it's declined in this period after September. So it did initially decline, but we're ramping up to new multi-month highs here, and I think we're going to break over $600 possibly on this earnings report. That would be a significant move. We get a 15-17% move, will be over $600, and then we can put that all-time high in focus that everybody laughed at me when I was talking about it down here. New all-time highs, like, what's wrong with you? Well, it seems like Carl Icahn wasn't laughing; he was buying, even added to his position. So, speaking of Carl Icahn, we have HLF earnings after the bell today. And look at that. You could almost put in a possible head and shoulders pattern here. That's a left shoulder, right shoulder, and that is the head. And so we could see possibly a pullback here post-earnings. Of course, it's NUS, which is New Skin, ticker NUS, blasted out of the gate post-earnings last week. And you can see this move up and head to the upside. So HLF did not really follow too much in its footsteps. It's kind of weak today. Possible move back down to this $45 level like we saw with a big longer term head and shoulders pattern before Bill Ackman came out with his short thesis and the stock plummeted. Anyway, let's move on. We have LNCO, which is a very hot stock these days after I brought it up in January. In January of this year, nobody was talking about it. See this purple circle? Nobody was talking about LNCO, but I noticed some unusual put activity meaning somebody was betting on downside. It was almost a $10 million trade for downside in the August contract. August, out here. This was in January. They were buying the August, and look what happened. We hit highs here. So they were actually down some 40% on that $10 million bet. But then come July, when we tanked down here to about $22.50 on the SEC investigation, which somebody might have known about back here when they bought their $10 million worth of puts, they were up millions upon millions and millions and millions of dollars. But anyway, here we are again. A lot of the companies that were downgrading, or analysts that were downgrading the stock here, have changed their tune recently and have started raising their targets again on LNCO, which is a spin-off of Linn Energy, ticker LINN, which is reporting earnings later this week as well. So to me, you can see this pullback we've had. I think there's a good chance we're going to pull back down to this $23 level, and we'll see. This is one of those stocks that issues a great amount of cash to its shareholders, and that's something that keeps it afloat. The question is that a sustainable business model? We have Seagate Technology reporting earnings after the bell today as well. Look at this chart. You can see just like Western Digital. You can go through some of these storage names. Beautiful move up, almost over 1,000% since its lows in 2009. Something I would not be fighting against. Before the bell tomorrow, we have Triple D, 3D Systems. Target was raised this morning by one firm. It's going to be interesting to see where it heads. The measured move, or the move that the market thinks it's going to make, is about $5, about a 10% move. So you can look, it's down 3.1% so far today. I would expect a big move either down or up. I'm not going to trade it, but if I do, I'll let you know in the chat room. Baidu was downgraded today, at least by one firm. You can see this is a long-term chart I brought up on StockTwits, talking about it in this downward consolidating channel, and finally broke to the upside. And we were on this here at optionmillionaires.com, and you see it hit new all-time highs recently. Pulling back a little bit, so they have earnings after the bell. Kind of followed Google up the last couple weeks as Google's rallied to new all-time highs. So that'll be interesting. I was bringing up Caesar Resorts in the chat room today. You can see Caesar. This is the channel it was in. Let me just extend that channel a little bit. And you can see, let me extend that. There we go. So support really is right about 17.5. And I think it's going to curl up. And if you look at the oversold statistics, it's not really oversold yet, but I was looking for a move possibly at a 50% from its highs here, and as the recent decline of about $8, that'll bring us up to about $23 a share for Caesar Resorts. That's after the bell tomorrow. We have Shutterfly. I'm going to run through some of these names pretty quick. Look at this chart, trying to come up to the recent all-time highs. The all-time highs had hit in the middle of 2011. We have WebMD, which has been rocketing higher. Look at the move it's had. 37.50. This was a 57.50 stock. A lot of room to go to the upside. I think WebMD is going to make a big move post earnings, and ultimately going to be over $40 in the next couple of weeks. We have LinkedIn, which of course just off of all-time highs. This is one of those stocks. Again, see the consolidation it had back in the start of the year. Another phase of consolidation here, and it's going to rip to the upside. Pretty crazy if that happens, right? Nobody believed it when it was down here or down here when it's in the 60s. Oh, secondary offering. Don't buy that. That's going to crash. Yeah, just like the market. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Buffalo Wild Wings. Look at this. This is another one. A lot of wings. A lot of wings being sold there at Buffalo Wild. A lot of wings and beer. A lot of sports bar type of restaurant. And you can see the stock is just, I don't know what to say here other than don't fight the trend. That's the theme here these days, isn't it? So I'm not going to trade that via earnings. Garmin reports earnings before the bell on Wednesday. You can see this stock too breaking out, which to me, if you think about it, you say, all right, I've got a GPS system on my phone. I've got a map and navigation system on my phone. Why is Garmin rising in price? How are they selling products when I could just mount my phone where my GPS used to be? That's something to keep in mind. And then after the bell on Wednesday, we have Sam Adams, Boston Beer Company, ticker is SAM. Look at this rallying to new all-time highs recently. JB at optionmillionaires.com has been behind it. The analysts have not. The analysts have been telling you to sell all the way up to new all-time highs here. Sell. Lowering target. So there's only been one person in this world that has been right about this stock. And that's JB at OptionMillionaires.com. Kudos to you, J-Bob. J-Bob. Then we have Crocs, which analyst came out, downgraded the price target. That's after the bell on Wednesday. You can see the stock is just kind of melting. It's melting. Look at the volume decreasing here. Looks like it just wants to roll over. Meanwhile, if you look at DEC, symbol DECK, they had earnings last week and rocketed to the upside. You can see it's trying to maintain this channel. Beautiful 20% move on Friday. And you can see that there's the move up for DEC. I don't think that's what's going to happen with Crocs, but keep that in mind. We have Oshkosh B'gosh. That is before the bell on Thursday. Oshkosh Corporation, they make all sorts of trucking equipment, etc. And back 2008, this is a stock that dropped from $26 to about $18 in one trading session post-earnings. So could we be seeing that here? Where's that? Come on, we're salivating. All the bears are salivating. Like, crash, pull back. Do you mean sell something? All right, I'm going to take the last nickel I have and put it into put options for Oshkosh. You could buy maybe a quarter of a contract for the $35 puts that are going for a penny if you're a bear. So anyway, Oshkosh, it's reporting before the bell on Thursday. And then after the bell on Thursday, this is going to be the two high flyers for options heading into week's end. First Solar. First Solar is pulling back 5%. Solar City was actually up big, but First Solar is a very volatile stock. That's going to be interesting heading into earnings. You can see the stock really put in a nice, and you can almost say this is a cup. Continuation pattern, cup, maybe a little handle here, and up to about $60 post-earnings. We have Starbucks, which is starting to get its juice business going, but you can see this chart it's had really since the end of 2012, straight up $80. And you can see from a long-term price perspective, this is less than a $10 stack. It was $8.04 back in 2008, and now is at $78.98. Look at this trend. This is very bearish. When you see a stock go like this, straight up, I usually stand in front of it, said every bearish blog in the universe as they used their last nickel to short it. I can't fathom it. Yeah, we're in a, I mean, you put Bernie Madoff in jail for a Ponzi scheme. This is the most manipulated market that we'll probably ever see in our lifetime. Why would you fight it? Why would you fight it? I don't know. Whatever. All right, it's UPB here from OptionMillionaires.com. So those are the earnings. We have Apple, HLF, LNCO, NTR, Nutrisystem, Seagate, Triple D, Baidu, Caesars, Shutterfly. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's going to be a great week. We have the Federal Reserve this week. It's going to be exciting. Well, thanks for tuning in, folks. I'll see you in the chat room at OptionMillionaires.com. You can also check me out at Twitter. UPB Option Mill, I believe, is my handle there. Or you can go to StockTwits where I'm UPB. All right. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great day. Goodbye.